going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now,
Jimothy.
So ladies and gents, welcome back to another edition of Boardbreakers, and I've decided to go with a little bit of a varied opposition board consisting of Burrowload Savage Dragon, Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, and Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Now the reason I've got these three on board is mainly because I'm actually trying to play Jimothy's at the moment, and I'm just trying to figure out some combos. So this is the deck that I've been messing about with. But I've also taken a liking to the deck that's hopefully going to break this board, which is Magical Musketeers. Now the reason I've turned to Magical Muskets is mainly because I've seen a video online, I believe it was Lithium, where he actually teched in the Amazement deck parts of the Amazement deck into the Magical Musket lineup, which was a really interesting concept, especially how the muskets like to obviously activate their spells and traps from hand. So it was a little bit of an interesting take on the deck, and it's kind of like something that I'm interested in because I do like playing muskets. They're no way, shape or form a meta deck, definitely a rogue contender, but a very powerful one at that, a very powerful control strategy. So we have shuffled up, ladies and gents. Let's just cut this to make sure. Now hopefully we can get something good, because we are facing down an Omni Negate, a Bounce, as well as a Monster Negate, as well as some very hefty targets. So let's see what we get. So we get one Magical Musket Caspar, which is not too shabby, one Zakia, which is not good, one Honest, which is actually not too bad. We get one Magical Musket Cross Domination, which is fantastic. We also get another Magical Musket Cross Domination, and finally we get a Magical Musket Desperado. Wow, this is going to be rough, ladies and gents. This is going to be rough indeed, mainly because of Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. Now if I'm playing Heretic Seal, let's just put these there so you can see everything. If I'm playing Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, I'm definitely gonna bounce the normal summon, which is going to make things a little bit difficult, but nevertheless we're going to try and play anyway. So we would normal summon out our Caspar. Now at this point, this is probably where our turn is over, mainly because the Caspar has been normal summoned. So there's only a couple of things that we can do here. Because if I was facing down my opponent, he'd probably bounce the normal summon, knowing that I'm playing Magical Muskets. But on activation of Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, I would actually chain Desperado, and I would actually target the Crystal Wing. And then when they chain the Burrowload Savage, I would actually chain the Cross Domination just to negate the Savage, and I would actually chain one in Caspar's zone. So Cross Domination, Desperado, I'll pop the Crystal Wing, so he would effectively be dead on resolution, and Burrowload Savage would be negated, so he would lose the equip and the attack boost. He can still have the negates though. And then my Caspar would be bounced back to hand, but on resolution, in fact we need to resolve these in sequence. I think Spheres would be the last thing to resolve. Caspar would actually allow me to search for a Magical Musket card from deck to hand, so we'll go ahead and do that. We've got one Cross Dom and one Desperado in grave. So what would we add in this instance? This is actually a tough one because we're not really in an advanced game state, but we would add Starfire in this instance, just because if we should survive, we should be able to get Starfire on field. So we'll add Starfire of Caspar. Starfire gets added to hand, Caspar gets bounced, Sphere's gone, and Savage has effectively lost his negate. So not quite the outcome I was looking for, but hey ho, this is a learning experience. There's not much more I could have done with that hand. Obviously Honest is in here as a little bit of a tech. It potentially could be something else. like droplets or something like that, but obviously I don't own droplets, so that's not something I could actually put in this deck as yet. But for the most part, I've got rid of 2 monsters, which is a little bit more effective than I thought it would be, to be honest. And should I survive next turn, which is not likely, especially with Dragoonity just getting some huge monsters on field, I've actually got a Starfire as well as another cross domination to be able to play the game, basically. So it's not too bad, not too bad. So we'll see. All right, let's go into the next test hand. Okay, let's get into Boardbreakers test hand number 2. Now what I will say, ladies and gents, is I've seen a lot of deck lists which look very, very similar, but obviously the people using those deck lists have had varied success, and it's largely due to the decisions that you make in game, which determines your success, to be honest. And what I have noticed is a lot of the cards that are in here potentially could be good, could be bad, but it's a lot down to your decision making. So what I will say is, if you are missing cards, don't exactly blame it on the fact that you haven't got droplets or dark ruler no more, or those kind of board breaking cards, because there are things that you can do that without those cards to be able to play the game. It's just down to your decision making and knowing your interactions, basically. So not all is lost, and not always will you have it your own way, ladies and gents. Sometimes you just can't break a board. It just is what it is. So we shuffled up. Let's see what we get with this hand. Let's give ourselves a big cut this time, like say we're at locals. Let's see what we get off the top. We get 1 Cord by the Grave, which is fantastic. 1 Dark Ruler no more. Oh, this is looking spicy. 1 Eagle Booster. 1 Cross Domination. 1 Starfire. Beautiful. We have cracked it, ladies and gents. And finally, 1 Desperado. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is the kind of hand that you want to see go in second, because boy, oh boy. So I am not going to waste any time. So I'm going to activate Dark Ruler no more. Blanket in the field. So all those effects are negated. So Boardbreaker Savage will lose the attack boost from the Dragoonity Knight Romulus. Spheres is still a little bit of a problem, but it can't bounce my normal summon like last time, which is really good. So in this instance, I am going to normal summon Starfire. Then I'm gonna activate. Ooh, I don't really want to do that actually, because I can save the cross down for next turn. Decisions. Do we want to get maximum value off our Starfire, or do we want to get maximum value off our screw it, let's just do this. So we'll actually link the Starfire off into our Magical Musketeer Max. Now it's at this point that potentially our opponent will activate the spheres. He could have possibly activated it on normal summon to be able to bounce and go into a Morphage Goliath, or he could have actually got another Dragoonity monster out from deck, maybe Dragoonity Armor Gram. But for the most part, we'll say that we'll see that our opponent will target and activate his spheres, so bouncing it to the graveyard. Obviously, it can't bounce in a card that I control, mainly because of Dark Rule of the board. But he will be able to try and go and resolve a special summon from deck. But we have the Call by the Grave, so we'll chain Call by the Grave, negating and banishing the Heavenly Spheres, and then Max's effect will resolve. And that would have been the best point to do that well, potentially before that, because obviously if I summon Max and there's 3 cards on field, Max will then obviously resolve and I'd get a +3. But in this instance, we're going to add spells or traps equal to the number of cards. So we've got 2 cards on field. So what do we want? We need to get over the Crystal Wing and we need to get over the Boardbreaker Savage. So let's just have a look what we've got in hand. So in hand, we've got a Desperado and we've got Cross Domination. So we won't follow up for next turn, to be honest. So we're definitely going to add a Last Stand. and we need to get over these monsters. It's mainly the this is going to be a tricky one, to be honest. Because Crystal Wing's probably one of the biggest threats, but our max is only really going to get himself up to 2k, so we won't be able to beat over the Barrel Load Savage. But that's not a problem, actually. To be honest, we'll just add ourselves another Desperado. Barrel Load Savage has lost his negate, so we'll add ourselves a Desperado for the following turn. Put that back there. So in our hand, we've got a Eagle Booster, which we can set, obviously. We've got Cross Domination, and in this instance, I would definitely go and fire off the Desperado, popping the Crystal Wing, so Crystal Wing's gone. Desperado will hit the graveyard, and then I will pass turn to my opponent. Obviously, I can't attack into the Barrel Load Savage because its attack is way too high, but I do have Cross Domination in hand, and Savage has not got any negate, so I could actually activate Cross Dom in the damage step. I could set my Eagle Booster actually before I pass turn to my opponent to make sure that my max will actually at least survive until the battle phase. So I'll set my Eagle Booster, and then in hand I've got one Desperado, one Last Stand to negate a spell or a trap, and one Cross Domination for the Barrel Load Savage, which is really useful. So semi-broken, we've actually got there. We've still got a few things in hand that we can do. We've also got the Eagle Booster set to be able to just save our max to the battle phase, and obviously our Cross Domination to just kind of like survive a turn basically. So hopefully that would have done something, way, shape or form. Probably pop their normal summon, but with Dragoonies they play so many extenders, it just keeps going. But for the most part, ladies and gents, I think that is not a bad attempt at cracking the board. Again, there could be a few cards or decisions that I could have done differently, but get at me in the comment section below if you think I've done anything that probably wasn't the most optimal. But anyway, we find ourselves at the end of another video. If you do like this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that beautiful good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.